How can I change the way I think? The way I think about something is the way I think about something. My thoughts, my attitudes, my ideas were not created in a minute. I have to guess they are the result of years of experience, a lifetime of encounters. You are right about the way I think about money, but how do I change that? This could be the most interesting question in the book. The usual method of creation for most human beings is a three-step process involving thought, word, and deed or action. First comes the thought, the formative idea, the initial concept. Then comes the word. Most thoughts ultimately form themselves into words which are often then written or spoken. This gives added energy to the thought, pushing it out into the world where it can be noticed by others. Finally, in some cases, words are put into action and you have what you call a result, a physical world manifestation of what all started with a thought. Everything around you is your man-made world came into being in this way or some variation of it. All three creation centers were used. But now comes the question, how to change a sponsoring thought? Yes, that is a very good question and a very important one. For if humans do not change some of their sponsoring thoughts, humankind could doom itself into extinction. The most rapid way to change a root thought or sponsoring idea is to reverse the thought word deed process. Explain that. Do the deed that you want to have the new thoughts about. Then say the words that you want to have your new thought about. Do this often enough and you train the mind to think in a new way. Train the mind. Isn't that isn't that just mental manipulation? Do you have any idea how your mind came up with the thought it now has? Do not know that your world has manipulated your mind to think as you do. Wouldn't it be better for you to manipulate your mind than for the world to? Would you not be better off to think the thoughts you want to think than those of others? Are you not better armed with creative thoughts than with reactive thoughts? Yet your mind is filled with reactive thought that springs from the experience of others. Very few of your thoughts spring from self-produced data, much less self-produced preferences. Your own thought about money is a prime example. Your thought about money, if it is bad, runs directly counter to your experience. It's great to have money. So you have to run around and lie to yourself about your experience in order to justify your root thought. You are so rooted in this thought, it never occurs to you that your idea of money may be inaccurate. So now what we are up to is coming up with some self-produced data, and that is how we change a root thought and cause it to be your root thought, not another's. You have one more root thought about money, by the way, which I have yet to mention. What's that? That there is not enough. In fact, you have this root thought about just about everything. There is not enough money, there is not enough time, there is not enough love, there is not enough food, water, compassion in the world. Whatever there is that's good, there is just not enough. The race consciousness of not enoughness creates and recreates the world as you see it. Okay, so I have two root thoughts, sponsoring thoughts to change about money. Oh, at least two, probably many more. Let's see, money is bad, money is scarce, money may not be received for doing God's work. That's a big one with you. Money is never given freely. Money doesn't grow on trees, when in fact it does. Money corrupts. I see I have a lot of work to do. Yes, you do. If you are happy with your present money situations, on the other hand, it's important to understand that you are unhappy with your present money situation because you're unhappy with your present money situation. Sometimes you're hard to follow, sometimes you're hard to lead. Say, listen, you are the God here, you don't make it easy to understand. I've I have made it easy to understand. Then why don't you just cause me to understand if that's what you truly want? I truly want what you truly want. Nothing different and nothing more. Don't you see? That is my greatest gift to you. If I wanted for you something other than what you want for, and then went so far as to cause you to have it, where is your free choice? How can you be a creative being if I am dictating what you should be, do, and have? My joy is in your freedom, not your compliance. So, he's clearly mentioning here about the process of creation, which actually starts with a thought in the mind, and then comes the words either in verbal form or you write it down somewhere, in terms of your goals or whatever. And then thirdly comes the deed or the action part, which is the go ahead, go get it part. All creations start with the thought in the mind, then are verbalized and by the use of words, and then put into action in terms of whatever that has been required to be done. अब thoughts जो हैं वो everybody knows and we all are aware that they're so wavering, that they keep changing, and they are positive, they are negative, and most of the times they're negative. And how do we get to work with that creation process? Now he says we need to reverse the process. So the thought, words, action is nothing but doing, having, being. So we need, rather than do this to have this and be this, we need to reverse the process. Is that we need to be what we have to be, and then have what we have to do in order to, you need to do something in order to have what you do. So we need to start with that action. Now that action in terms of being is, for example, if we are saying that we want to be happy, we want to be at ease, that is a choice we make. No, irrespective of the situation, we can be at ease with what is as it is by just withdrawing our judgments, that whether it is good, whether it is bad. And if that action can then turn into words of company, accompanied with gratitude, above the line emotional feeling words, that is actually going to transform the energy of the word, which is accompanying the being, the action part, in order for us to change that thought. When he's talking about money, what is he talking? That, everybody has certain belief patterns about a lot of things. Like money is a common example for a lot of people. And yes, these are common beliefs that, money is not easy to earn. Money does not grow on trees. You should not waste money. It's scarce. It's not available to all. These are nothing but a pattern belief, which is, probably passed on to us during our upbringing, and is part of our conditioning, part of our programming. But if we work with these beliefs, because these beliefs are now currently in a phase where they are not a belief which is inspiring you, but rather it is a belief which is limiting you. So जो भी ऐसा कोई आपका belief system है जो आपको limit कर रहा है in terms of money, in terms of health, in whatever phase you want to work in your life, identify your beliefs, sit down, write कि यार मेरे क्या क्या beliefs है, and ask yourself, are they empowering me or are they limiting me? And if you feel that there are a few of your belief systems which are, not empowering you and not motivating you, but they are actually limiting you. Like, for example, if we talk about a common belief, money is hard to earn. Now, a lot of people can get this belief as an empowering belief that it makes me work hard for money. But do you think the more you work hard, is it directly proportional to the result that you are getting? Because what happens is, not all the time that you work hard, it is accompanied with money. So then there is a question mark which needs to be addressed, whether this belief is working for us or no. And if not, yes, time to change that belief. And how to do that? Yes, there are a lot of ways, not probably mentioned in this book, part of this book, but yeah, there are a lot of ways of, getting rid of your limiting beliefs. There are a lot of various workshops if you want to, go ahead. But yes, you need to identify what is working and you need to identify what is not working. And what is not working, it's high time that, it changes, because what God wants is what you want. So if what you have in your mind is that, yes, money is hard to earn, tathastu, that's God's words to you. He will make sure that money is hard to earn. But if you change it and you work on it and replace it with, money is as easy as, just snapping your fingers. I snap and I make money. Again, God's words is tathastu. He will give you what you want. But how firm is your belief in what you want, and how committed are you? How, devoted are you in that belief of yours? That is what matters. See, it is very easy to say. I can say a lot of things, but the back of the mind, it can be, नहीं यार, मैं बोल तो रहा हूँ, but चलेगा नहीं. Definitely नहीं चलेगा. Because अगर किसी भी थॉट, किसी भी एक्शन में या किसी भी काम में अगर आपकी इंटेंशन, फेथ एंड ट्रस्ट नहीं है, it will not work, irrespective of the result you desire or the result you get. See, in a lot of cases, whatever we do and the way we work, the way we desire things, chances are you will not get what exactly that you wanted for. But then there are two ways of looking at it. Yeah, this thing does not work. It is total bullshit. But the second way of looking at it is, where did I go wrong? Or where is it that I need to learn? Where is it that my faith was not there? Where is it that, there was a mistrust in myself? Because there has to be. Otherwise, it would not happen. Each and everything that is coming in our reality is our own manifestation, whether we are doing it consciously or whether we are doing it unconsciously. It is what it is. वो हमने ही बनाया हुआ है, और वो हमने उस process से बनाया है, which started from that thought. Then there were words to it, probably in the back of your mind, कि नहीं यार ऐसे नहीं हो सकता, ये तो गड़बड़ है, नहीं, this is not going to work. It's easy to say it, easier said than done. That is where what do? We cut one thread of that reality coming our way. So if you want something and you truly desire that thing and you want to work hard for it, you need to be committed towards it. In a lot of interviews, if you watch of these Olympic athletes or these Olympic, gold medalists, and just in case they miss a world record or just in case they miss the gold medal, what is it that they think of? No issues. We have 4 years more to practice. And we need to, I've got to know where I went wrong. And I'm thankful to God for giving me another 4 years to practice so that I can come out, for a better performance. And that's actually the way you need to think. Because if you've not got the results, that means there has been some lack. अगर कोई चीज हमारे हिसाब से नहीं हुई तो कहीं तो कुछ हुआ है ना, उसको तो फिगर आउट करना पड़ेगा। और वो जो नहीं हुआ है वो मैंने कहाँ से क्रिएट किया है या मेरे से कहाँ से वो मैनिफेस्ट हुआ है, that is where we need to work. Because remember, you cannot control anything which is outside of you. All you can do is just work on yourself. Okay, what do you mean? I am unhappy with my money situation because I'm unhappy with my money situation. You are what you think you are. It is a vicious circle. When the thought is a negative one, you've got to find a way to break out of the circle. So much of your present experience is based on your previous thought. Thoughts lead to experience, which leads to thought, which leads to experience. This can produce constant joy when the sponsoring thought is joyous. It can and does produce continual hell when the sponsoring thought is hilarious. The trick is to change sponsoring thought. I was about to illustrate how to do that. Go. Thank you. The first thing to do is reverse the thought word deed paradigm. Do you remember the old adage, think before you act? Yes. Well, forget it. If you want to change a root thought, you have to act before you think. Example, you're walking down the street and come across an old lady begging for quarters. You realize she's a bad lady and is living day to day. You instantly know that as little money as you have, you surely have enough to share with her. Your first impulse is to give her some change. There's even a part of you that's ready to reach in your pocket for a little folding money, a 1 or even a 5. What the heck? Make it a grand moment for her, light her up. Then thought comes in. What? Are you crazy? We've only got $7 to get us through the day. You want to give her a 5? So you start fumbling around for that one. Thought again. Hey, come on. You don't have that many of these that you can just give them away. Give her some coins for heaven's sake and let's get out of here. Quickly, you reach into the other pocket to try to come with some quarters. Your fingers feel only nickels and dimes. You are embarrassed. Here you are, fully clothed, fully fed, and you're going to nickel and dime this poor woman who has nothing. You try in vain to find a quarter or two, or there's one deep in the fold of your pocket, but by now you've walked past her, smiling vainly, and it's too late to go back. She gets nothing, you get nothing either. Instead of the joy of knowing your abundance and sharing, you now feel as poor as the woman. Why didn't you just give her the paper money? It was your first impute, but your thought got in the way. Next time, decide to act before you think. Give the money, go ahead. You've got it, and there's more where that came from. That's the only thought which separates you from the bag lady. You are clear, there's more where that came from, and she doesn't know that. When you want to change a root thought, act in accordance with the new idea you have, but you must act quickly or your mind will kill the idea before you know it. I mean that literally. The idea, the new truth will be dead in you before you had a chance to know it. So act quickly when the opportunity arises. And if you do this enough, your mind will soon get the idea. It will be your new thought. Oh, I just got something. Is that what's meant by the new thought movement? If not, it should be. New thought is your only chance. It's your only real opportunity to evolve, to grow, to truly become who you really are. Your mind is right now filled with old thoughts, not only old thoughts, but mostly someone else's old thoughts. It's important now. It's time now to change your mind about some things. This is what evolution is all about. So, when we are talking about the action preceding the thought, it's basically a concept called follow your instinct or follow the gut feel, because that is the first response each and everyone generally get in a situation. And that gut feel and that intuition is nothing but a hint, a, you know, a drop of indication from our spirit guides, from our guardian angels, and that exactly turns out to be a gut feel and an intuitive feeling. So always follow your gut. Because अगर उसने वो beggar को impulse में first thought में पैसे दे दिए होते, he would have felt good. Now, how does that feeling of good going to translate into more money? Now, if I am in a good mood, that means my vibrational frequency is not of lack. If I have given money, my vibrational frequency is going to be of abundance. मेरे पास है नहीं है, that is going to be a secondary thought, not the primary thought. The primary thought, I am happy, I am joyous, I have helped somebody to have a good day. And with that feeling and that thought and that vibrational frequency, whatever task I am going to be approaching, my mind or my general way of being is going to be positive. For example, if I'm going for a good customer call, and during this process, this instance would have happened, when I approach the customer, would I be happy or would I be grumpy? I would be happy. So if I am happy, what are my chances to make that deal a better one than what, as compared to my chances of being that grumpy lag, हाँ यार मेरे पास तो पैसे है नहीं, पता नहीं ऑर्डर देगा नहीं देगा. But अगर मैं एक अच्छे मूड में जाऊंगा, my thought process is going to be different ना. And my thought process is actually my way of creation, and that is my, the way how manifestation is going to work for me. So if an action gives you something to cherish, something to be joyous about, something to be excited about, something to be happy about, do it. Don't think of the small,
Yes, yes,
you know, don't bother so much about the small things. Money, ye hai, nahi hai. But if it's going to give you joy, you don't know what it's going to create eventually for you. Chapter 12. Why can't I do what I really want to do with my life and still make a living? What? You mean you actually want to have fun in your life and still earn your keep? Brother, are you dreaming? What? Only kidding. Just doing a little mind reading. That's all. You see, that's been your thought about it. It's been my experience. Yes, well, we've been all through this now a number of times. The people who make a living doing what they love are the people who insist on doing so. They don't give up, they never give in. They dare life not to let them do what they love. But there's another element that must be brought up because this is the missing element in most people's understanding when it comes to life. What's that? There is a difference between being and doing, and most people have placed their emphasis on the latter. Shouldn't they? There is no should or should not involved. There is only what you choose and how you can have it. If you choose peace and joy and love, you won't get much of it through what you're doing. If you choose happiness and contentment, you'll find little of that on the path of doingness. If you choose reunion with God, supreme knowing, deep understanding, endless compassion, total awareness, absolute fulfillment, you won't achieve much of that out of what you're doing. In other words, if you choose evolution, the evolution of your soul, you wouldn't produce that by the worldly activities of your body. Doing is a function of the body, being is a function of the soul. The body is always doing something. Every minute of every day, it's up to something. It never stops. It never rests. It's constantly doing something. It's either doing what it's doing at the behest of the soul or in spite of the soul. The quality of your life hangs in the balance. The soul is forever being. It is being what it is being, regardless of what the body is doing, not because of what it's doing. If you think your life is about doingness, you do not understand what you're about. Your soul doesn't care what you do for a living, and when your life is over, neither will you. Your soul only cares about your being while you're doing whatever you're doing. It is a state of beingness the soul is after and not a state of doingness. What is the soul seeking to be? Me. You? Yes, me. Your soul is me and it knows it. What it is doing is trying to experience that. And that what it is remembering is that the best way to have this experience is by not doing anything. There is nothing to do but to be. Be what? Whatever you want to be, happy, sad, weak, strong, joyful, vengeful, insightful, blind, good, bad, male, female, you name it. I mean that literally, you name it. This is all very profound. But what does it have to do with my career? I'm trying to find a way to stay alive, to survive, to support myself and my family, doing what I like to do. Try being what you like to be. What do you mean? Some people make lots of money doing what they do. Others can't make a go of it. And they're doing the same thing. What makes the difference? Some people have more skill than others. That's the first cut. But now we get to the second cut. Now we are down to two people with relatively equal skills, both graduated from college, both were at the top of their class, both understand the nature of what they're doing, Both know how to use their tools with great facility, and yet one still does better than the other. One flourishes while the other struggles. What's that about? Location? Location? Somebody once told me there are only three things to consider when starting a new business: location, location, and location. In other words, what are you going to do? But where are you going to be exactly? That sounds like the answer to my question as well. The soul is concerned only with where you are going to be. Are you going to be in a place called fear or in a place called love? Where are you and where are you coming from as you encounter life? Now, in the example of the two equally qualified workers, one is successful and the other is not because of anything either is doing, but because of what both are being. One person is being open, friendly, caring, helpful, considerate, cheerful, confident, even joyful in her work, while the other is being closed, distant, uncaring, inconsiderate, grumpy, even resentful of what she is doing. Now, suppose you were to select even loftier states of beingness. Suppose you were to select goodness, mercy, compassion, understanding, forgiveness, love. What if you were to select godliness? What then would be your experience? I tell you this: beingness attracts beingness and produces experience. You are not on this planet to produce anything with your body. You are on this planet to produce something with your soul. Your body is simply and merely the tool of your soul. Your mind is the power that makes the body go. So, what you have here is a power tool used in creation of the soul's desire. What's the soul's desire? Indeed, what is it? I don't know. I'm asking you. I don't know. I'm asking you. This could go on forever. It has. Wait a minute. A moment ago, you said the soul is seeking to be you. So it is. Then that is the soul's desire. In the broader sense, yes. But this me it is seeking to be is very complex, very multidimensional, multi-sensual, multifaceted. There are a million aspects to me, a billion, a trillion, you see. There is the profane and the profound, the lesser and the larger, the hollow and the holy, the ghastly and the godly, you see. So when he's talking about, again, we talked about it earlier, it's about doing, being, doing, and having. So in a lot of places, or in general terms, the kind of psyche we have or the kind of upbringing we've all had is we all are more concentrated in the doing part. ये कर लेते हैं, ऐसे करते हैं, ये करते हैं. The doing is not bad, but we need to realize that that doing needs to come and be supported from that state of being. हम कुछ भी कर रहे हैं, किस लिए कर रहे हैं? What is the bigger picture? What is the bigger goal? Or what is the end result that we are looking for? When you work with that in mind, and that is your being, and you start from that, that is where you actually create those experiences which are backed by that state of being. Now, if I am doing work or if I am doing some business, my main aim is to grow, earn money, and have a name. So if I am being in that state that yes, you know, I'm earning money and I'm earning name, और मैं उस thought से, उस state of being से अपने doing को approach करूंगा, my actions and my doing would be on a very different platform. बट अगर वही मेरी स्टेट ऑफ बीइंग डर की हो, पता नहीं क्या होगा, ये होगा, ठीक भी होगा, यार ये चलेगा भी कि नहीं चलेगा, नुकसान तो नहीं हो जाएगा, what do you think my doing is going to be? Am I going to be making those right decisions? Chances are no, because it's backed by that state of being which is fearful. But if that state of being is a state of joy, is a state of abundance, that yes, everything is going to be good, we are doing, we've done great, we're here to make, excellent results. If we go from that approach and that state of being, definitely the results are going to be much more positive. And, when it actually comes to think about it, whatever we are doing is actually in the larger picture being done through us. We are never the doers in reality. I mean, that's the spirituality of reality, is we are never the doers. It is being done through us, because that is the consciousness at work with this body and this mind. And as a result, whatever this body and mind do is backed from that being. So अगर वो state of being पे हमने concentrate किया कि भैया जो भी है हम तो बढ़िया ही करेंगे, then that is where the things are going to start manifesting that way through you. Because at the end of the day we are not the doers. अगर आपको लग रहा है कि ये बुक रीडिंग मैं कर रहा हूँ, no, it is being done through you. It is being done through this body, through this mouth, through this, mind. But am I the actual doer? No, the doer is someone else. I am just a via medium. So if you are working in your premises or whatever you're doing, do you think you are the doer? In reality, if you think from that perspective of a higher work or a higher uh, things at play, we are never the doers. And in order to be the doer and say that, a lot of people have this habit that I did this, it's in nothing but a concept of the mind called ego. मैंने किया, देखो मैंने किया. Because that, that doing also attracts that. अगर आप उस state of mind में रहोगे, then yes, chances are you're going to be attracting that ego along with that. So whenever you are working or whatever you are doing, just have this realization that, probably this is the way it was meant to be, and this is being done through me. But and in that same process, what we need to actually concentrate more on is definitely your state of being when everything is being done through you. That you choose. Yes, I see. The up and the down, the left and the right, the here and the there, the before and the after, the good and the bad. Precisely, I am the alpha and the omega. That was not just a pretty saying or a nifty concept, that was truth expressed. So, in seeking to be me, the soul has a grand job ahead of it, an enormous menu of beingness from which to choose. And that is what it is doing in this moment now, choosing states of being. Yes. And then producing the right and the perfect conditions within which to create the experience of that. It is therefore true that nothing happens to you or through you that is not for your own highest good. You mean my soul is creating all my experiences, including not only the things I am doing, but the things that are happening to me? Let us say that the soul leads you to the right and the perfect opportunities for you to experience exactly what you had planned to experience. What you actually experience is up to you. It could be what you planned to experience, or it could be something else, depending upon what you choose. Why would I choose something I don't wish to experience? I don't know. Why would you? Do you mean that sometimes the soul wishes one thing and the body or mind wishes another? What do you think? But how can the body or the mind overrule the soul? Doesn't the soul always get what it wants? The spirit of you seeks, in the largest sense, that grand moment when you have conscious awareness of its wishes and joy in joyful oneness with them. But the spirit will never ever force its desire on the present conscious physical part of you. The Father will not force his will upon the Son. It is a violation of his very nature to do so, and thus quite literally impossible. The Son will not force his will upon the Holy Spirit. It is against his very nature to do so, and thus quite literally impossible. Here is where the impossibilities end. The mind very often seeks to exert its will on the body and does so. Similarly, the body seeks often to control the mind and frequently succeeds. Yet, the body and the mind together do not have to do anything to control the soul, for the soul is completely without need, unlike the body and the mind, which are shackled with it, and so allows the body and the mind to have their way all the time. Indeed, the soul would have it no other way, for if the entity which is you is to create and thus know who it really is, it must be through an act of conscious violation, not an act of unconscious obedience. Obedience is not creation and thus can never produce salvations. Obedience is a response, while creation is pure choice, undictated, unrequited. Pure choices produces salvation through the pure creation of highest idea in this moment now. The function of the soul is to indicate its desire, not impose it. The function of the mind is to choose from its alternatives, and the function of the body is to act out that choice. When body, mind, soul create together in harmony and in unity, God is made fresh. Then does the soul know itself in its own experience, then do the heavens rejoice. Right now, in this moment, your soul has again created opportunity for you to be, do, and have what it takes to know who you really are. Your soul has brought you to the words you are reading right now, as it has brought you to the words of wisdom and truth before. What will you do now? What will you choose to be? Your soul waits and watches with interest, as it has many times before.